Okay, we'll call the meeting to order and roll call, please.
Here.
Mr. Jacobs?
Here.
Mr. Stracco?
Here.
Mr. O'Douley?
Here.
Ms. Westphal?
Here.
Mr. D?
Here.
Ms. Christie?
Here.
Mr. Stevenson?
Here.
And Mr. Zucker.
Here.
Adequate notice of this meeting of the Bedminster Township Land Use Board was filed with the Township Clerk and sent to the Burnersville News, Burnersville, the Courier News, Somerville, and to all subscribers and posted at the Township Municipal Building, 1 Miller Lane, Bedminster, New Jersey, on January 13, 2016.
Stand for the flag salute, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have minutes? No minutes tonight. Okay. Correspondence? Nothing. Resolutions. We do have two. We have P and Cone, our first resolution. Has anybody had time to look at these? Can we have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Madam Chair, I think you missed the open public meeting statement.
Oh, open meeting statement?
No,
No, we read it.
Okay, never mind. I was a little asleep, sorry.
A little deja vu. Okay. Okay.
Hate it when that happens.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Mr. Stracco?
Aye.
Mr. O'Douley?
Aye.
Ms. Westphal?
Aye.
Mr. D?
Aye.
Ms. Christie?
Aye.
And Mr. Stevenson.
Aye.
Motion's passed. Second resolution, Frigerio.
Madam
Okay.
Chair, if I could just make a comment on that one, because I know there's a lot of discussion last night.
Yes.
Paving, no paving.
Yes.
What I would suggest to the board, whether we added into it or whether you get your nod, is if you want to pave the parking lot in the future, I don't think they should have to come back to the board. Problem is, we've got a site plan with an unpaved parking lot. So it may be worthy to mention if that's really what your thinking is in the resolution that says it can be paved in the future without coming back to the plan.
We actually encouraged it. We wanted it.
And I know, and there's
Yes.
good reasons why it wasn't done, and I'm okay with that.
Mhm.
Just that I think that if he, right now, as it stands, he's going to go out and approve a site plan for gravel parking. He
Mhm.
wants to pave it, he's got to come back to the.
Oh, really? I didn't know
And I
that.
think the record did indicate, he indicated on the record that if we had pushed him, he probably would have said, okay, I'll pave it. But he indicated his future intention was to pave it, so if that's a finding in the resolution, and Paul's conclusion is he can pave it whenever he wants to, as long as he comes and gets the permits.
Mhm.
Well,
And the stormwater is designed as if it's paved.
I recall he is paving a portion of it for the handicap.
That's right.
Correct.
He's got the apron coming in from the road and the accessible stalls.
Well, you think the stormwater is enough if it's paved?
Yes.
But it would be to see it in the resolution that if he wants to pave it, that he can without
I just
coming
wanted to
before
get
us.
that.
Yeah.
What do you,
With it here on the spot, we can add a sentence, at the end of paragraph 6, right after you make your finding on the variance, that states, in the event the applicant, and I'll handwrite this, wishes to pave the parking area in the future, on the approval of the township engineer.
You're saying end of 6?
Yeah.
I think it's more appropriate at 5, because 5 is actually where we're talking, and 5 actually reflects where the applicant says he does intend.
Oh, I'm
Eventually.
sorry, I misread it. You're right. The end of 5. In the event the applicant wishes to pave the parking area in the future,
on the approval of the township engineer, he can do so without having to come back to the board. Does that work? Does
Sounds
that work,
good.
Paul?
Yes.
Well, without any further approvals.
Yeah.
Without having to obtain approval from the board.
Very good.
Mhm.
If somebody wants to.
Do you have a motion with the change?
I'll move that. Made a motion.
Motion? Do we need a second?
I'll second.
Mayor Parker? Jacobs?
Aye.
Mr. Strackhoff?
Aye.
Mr. Obilius?
Aye.
Ms. Gutschall?
Aye.
Mr. Dean?
Aye.
Ms. Christie?
Aye.
And Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Okay. At this time, we'd like to hear if there's anybody from the public that has something that's not on the agenda. Not seeing anything, we will continue. I guess we're down at the new hearing, where we are. So we have PDZZ Services.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Arthur Scar, attorney for the applicant. We have tonight a fully conforming minor subdivision. We're taking a single lot of 8.8 acres in the 3-acre zone, and we're creating 2 lots. There's an existing residence on the 1 lot, and then a new residence will be built on the 2nd lot. Inasmuch as it's a completely conforming application, I will not belabor the point. Rather, I will introduce our engineer and testify. Theodore H., that is Ted Bayer, of Bayer Riss Engineering of Hampton, New Jersey. In chatting before the meeting this evening, I asked Mr. Bayer if he had testified previously before the Land Use Board or the predecessors, and he has not to his recollection. So I'm going to ask him to give his credentials in brief form that we can have him.
Before you start, you want to raise your right hand, please? You swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, Mr. Bayer, would you please give a brief synopsis of your credentials for the benefit of the board?
My name is Ted Bayer from Bayer Riss Engineering. I am a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey, state of New York, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I'm a graduate of Rutgers University College of Engineering. I have been a professional engineer in New Jersey since 1989. I've testified before the Bedminster Township Board of Health on numerous times, starting back in the 1980s. I've testified at numerous other boards in Hunterdon, Somerset, Middlesex counties. I'm also the backup engineer for the Township of Kingwood for their zoning board, and I am the backup engineer for Lebanon County, Hunterdon County. And I've performed numerous site plans, design, subdivisions, stormwater design. And I'm sure Paul is familiar with my work, as is Frank Banish.
I'll move that Mr. Bayer is a qualified expert testify.
Okay, accept him as a professional engineer.
Like me to mark this into,
Depends on whether it's identical to what was filed.
this is identical to what was filed.
You don't have to mark it, but just identify what it is when you discuss it.
Okay. This is,
The handle there, because
You gotta be able to record it.
on the display board is the submission that was made. It's entitled the Proposed Minor Subdivision Conceptual Lot Development Plan for PDZZ Services, which is Block 41, Lot 19, 1 Thorsmore Road in Bedminster Township. And The last revision date on this was August 24th, 2016. The revision was made in response to a review letter by the board engineer, Paul. The project is located in the R3 residential zone, and it is an existing lot comprised of 8.8 acres. It has frontage along Thosmore Road, also on Clucas Brook Road. What we're proposing is to create a two-lot subdivision with one lot consisting of 3.07 acres. That would be proposed lot 19.02 with frontage on Clucas Brook Road. Proposed lot 19.01 with a total of 5.77 acres would have frontage on Thosmore Road and extend also north to Clucas Brook Road. There are existing single-family residents on what we've identified in the future as lot 19.01, and we have complied in all respects with the requirements of the subdivision ordinance. I do have a couple review letters from your professionals, from Paul and from Ms. Vanish. If you'd like, I can go through them.
Yeah, there are some comments that I think you need to address,
Yes, that's correct.
if you would.
Okay, we'll start with the engineer's letter. And
That for the record, that's Mr. Ferrara's letter dated September 29th.
that's correct. And comment A on sheet 1, consistent with township practice, file map was to be prepared for subdivision for filing with Somerset County. We have no problem with that, and we'll do that assuming we get approved. Looking back over the historical aerial photographs, Google Earth specifically, a farm pond or some type of pond that was in the area of Clucas Brook Road, and that's been filled in. It was properly filled in. Permits were obtained. And Charo's comment was that if any construction is going to be occurred in the footprint of that former pond, he wants to see some type of soil testing to confirm the capacity, the bearing capacity of the soil, so that we're not going to have a foundation slide, and we have no problem complying with that also. The next comment is that because the proposed lot 19.01 has frontage on both Thosmore and Clucas Brook Road, that's described as an awkward situation. What we offer is that the larger lot, the 5.77 acre lot, is going to be considered primarily as a horse property. And the additional area that extends towards Clucas Brook would be our horse paddocks would be located in a pasture. And what I've done is prepare a exhibit.
That we're going to mark?
I'll mark this. A1?
Yes.
Pardon me?
Tell us what it is.
Okay. What I've done is I took the proposed conceptual lot development plan, and I've used a highlighter, and I've identified the through lot portion that Paul referenced in his letter. It's this cross-hatched area here, and it comprises 2.4 acres. And one of the question that we had with Paul was that because you have frontage on both lots, anytime in the future, you're going to have two front yards. And if the person who lives there would want to install, construct a swimming pool or something like that, it might require a variance. But as I said, that this hatched area here is what would be considered, area for the horses to graze and things like that. And I've, in red, marked on this plot an extension of the southern lot line of proposed lot 19.02. And you can see that in red coming right across here. What we would offer is that condition of approval structure that be constructed on the side of that projection of that southern lot line here, but it's actually a common lot line for most of the area. If we comply with the rear yard setback on that, for a swimming pool or other type of accessory structure, that would make it more in line with what you would consider if we only had frontage on this single road. There's a shed that is in the side yard setback, the proposed side yard setback. Right now it's 27 feet from the eastern property line. That would be relocated out of the side yard setback, but again, as if we were to locate that in an area that would comply with a conventional rear yard setback, we would think that would make sense and address Paul's issue.
Well, this is the question, and some of this is an interpretation for the board to try to look at this. Generally, if you look at the ordinance, you look at the way yards are defined. If this were a flag lot and there were no road here, this would be considered a front yard, because that's the line that most closely parallels the street. So definitionally, this still becomes a front yard. Okay, I think from a layout perspective, at least the area from this point forward to here functions as a rear yard because it butts up against the rear yard. And if the board were to say that this area here is a rear yard up until you get to this line here, I think that's a reasonable interpretation of the ordinance, but it's the board that interprets it, not the zoning officer or myself. We look at the letter of what it says. Because it's most closely parallel to the yard, the street line here, it's considered a front yard. Front yard here, and front yard here. So the issue is not necessarily the setback, but also the requirement that you can't have a accessory structure in a front yard. The front yard is from not just the required front yard, but the actual front yard, from the principal building to the street. So in the ordinance, anything behind this building is the front yard from Lucas Brook Road. And in front of the building is the front yard to Osborne. That's the definitional issue we have. I don't know what Frank thinks about that.
I think you've seized on a practical solution to it. It sounds like a reasonable way to accommodate the situation here. I think my biggest concern would only be that what happens along Clucas Brook not look out of character there. You wouldn't want to see, I don't think you would want to see an agricultural building as close as it could be to Clucas Brook Road in a neighborhood where the homes are all of a certain,
It's a developed community.
Besides the barn.
I think that has to be a really big restriction. I wouldn't say no buildings over there, you know.
Well, are you proposing buildings in the future you may propose?
Right, existing barn, that's, Paul's got it right there.
That's not an issue at all.
And Lindy, the applicant, is willing to stipulate that he would not consider or propose any future agricultural or other buildings in this crosshatched area that extends up to Clucas Brook.
All right, so that barn is adequate for the property?
That's correct.
Stands now and as it will be in the future?
That's right, that barn is okay. And we will move the shed to comply with the zoning setback.
See the barn 53 feet.
Would there be a fence where those boundary lines are?
Fence along the property now, and I believe one of the,
No, I mean, all around, all the red, all of that, including to the left of,
Doesn't put this,
going between the...
between the two proposed lots
Where
here.
the subdivision line is.
There's not, is there a fence? Oh.
It doesn't show on the survey. There is no fence.
but they're not going to extend that long.
Right, we don't show a fence there
Along
now.
the road, but I didn't see any fence
You better,
going in.
if you're going to testify, you better get yourself identified.
We need a
That's a question for the
Yes.
Apparently, in order to clarify the issue of fencing, what exists and what's proposed, we need the owner of PDZZ Services LLC to testify. Mr. Peter Lydia. Peter, please come up. And,
Please. Swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Yes, sir. Would you state your full name for the record, please? India. Spell the last. L-E-N-D-I-A.
All right, Mr. Lindy, the owner of PDZZ Services LLC, correct?
Yes.
And you're fully familiar with this application, are you?
Yes.
All right. A question has arisen about the fencing around the property, what exists and what is proposed. Could you clarify? If you do, here's a copy of the application with the, I think there's fencing shown.
The odd-shaped lot is almost all fenced in the way you see it now, and it's going to follow the new proposed property line.
The odd-shaped lot is proposed lot 19.01, the larger lot which has the existing home on it. And so the fences that are on the property now, which traverse the property, that's going to be removed and relocated?
That's correct.
And it'll be relocated to which side of the, do you know yet which side of the property line?
Well, it has
are
to
gonna
be
go?
on the property that goes with 1901
Okay, so it's going to be on the 1901 side, and it's going to follow the
property line.
the property line. You get a surveyor
Yeah,
to mark
yeah.
that out for you.
Checks later.
Okay.
So could you trace that on that map so we can see it?
Okay. What Mr. Lindy described as a fence that will follow the line on the east side of proposed lot 19.02.
And from that point to your left, what goes there?
And he'll put a fence there also.
Okay.
So the entire horse property will be fenced.
Otherwise, you got horses running
I
down
hope
to
that's-
Colin Hickey's property.
That's right.
Which he might like.
Excuse me,
Just so I'm clear, you're going to fence across what I'll call the proposed rear lot line of 1902 and carry the fence across the imaginary line
Yes.
at the bottom of the cross-hatching?
There's another horse, and there's also another horse run on the right side of the property that's there now. There's a horse run there already.
So when you horse run, you mean it's an area, a fenced-in area,
Yeah.
and that's on the Thosmore Road side,
Yes.
to the right, which would be the easterly side of the
East side of the
property.
property.
It's sort of an irregular shape, sort of a trapezoid.
The fence will have a gate so that you can
Bring the horses in and out.
correct. And that gate would be
Facing the barn there, and on the back of the barn, you'd have it facing the other way.
Yes, sir.
excuse me, I'd like to know, is there any plan to put an access road or a driveway out to Clucas Road at any point?
Intentions whatsoever.
And that would be a problem with the rear yard and two front yards?
Well, that just creates a really awkward situation.
Right, that's right.
A real, as opposed to awkward, I think it really awkward.
Really awkward.
Okay.
I certainly think if the board approves this application, I certainly think it would be reasonable to prohibit the construction of any driveway in the Wasatch area.
Yeah,
Out to,
prohibited access to Lucas Brook Road from lot 1901.
any questions from the board?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nick.
Well, no, in the neighborhood on Brook Road, are there fences there now? Is this like a neighborhood that doesn't allow fences? Would this be unusual then, therefore, or, I don't know which way.
Okay. I did soil testing for the septic systems on these two proposed lots, and along the to the west, there was fencing and there was shrubberies and there was quite a bit of screening there. I don't think the fencing would be out of character with the surrounding neighborhood.
And I'm sure there's an existing fence on Lucas Brook.
Yeah.
And there is an existing fence on that backs up to the folks on O'Brien.
To the
A
right.
wood fence.
Yeah, the fence along Lucas Brook Road, I believe, is a stockade fence.
It's a stockade.
That's one of my questions. I'm assuming that's not going to remain as a stockade fence across from the new home that's going to be built.
And just a reminder.
Correct, that the stockade
You're
fence
going
will
to
be
remove the stockade fence from what would be the new lot and only put it around, yes.
That's right, that's correct.
And just a
And
reminder.
and the newly formed lot as well, right? That,
The backside of the weird,
yeah,
maybe, I don't know. I don't know.
it's a stockade fence, it's a little in disrepair. It's, you know,
It's not,
it means a wooden
yeah.
full fence.
Yes,
All up along the whole length of there.
the survey plan that we submitted, that was prepared by Charles Saladen, stockade fence is identified as going across the front of
Whole front.
the whole frontage of the lot.
Right.
And under proposed lot 19.02, that stockade fence will be removed.
Yeah.
There'll be no fence there.
He's asking about the other lot.
And the other lot there, right, what you said was
I'll take it down if you want. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna put, I have to keep.
say a post and rail.
somehow.
Post.
Right, I understand. But that's what I'm asking you, what kind of fence you're going to put there? What,
Split rail is gonna be there.
is that's typical for horses?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Got a whole town filled.
Yeah.
Horse fencing.
Right, well, I would think.
And the other side of Clucas Brook Road, that 1902 and the backside of 1901 are looking at, is the detention basin.
Yes,
So-
across the street.
So
Yes,
the view shed from the detention basin will be a whole lot better than it is
correct.
currently. And even if it has an agricultural view, I think
Yes,
those folks probably have the worst view than,
yes, they probably would.
If I just make a comment here, because I know Dave is furiously taking notes about lots 1901 and 1902.
Yes,
I don't think those are the lots that have been approved by the tax assessor.
Okay.
And I think we're going to end up at 19 and 1901, which is going to mess up the.
Confuse the record, really.
Confuse the record.
choose the paperwork, so we need to correct that.
So maybe in terms, we call them maybe the Clucas Brook Road lot and the Fosmore Road lot.
For clarification of the
Okay.
resolution, yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
All right.
Makes sense.
Because I'm not quite following this. Fence is discussing roughly along the horizontal red line, that one. Is that the same fence that's shown on the plan where it says post and board fence typical?
That post and board fence, an existing fence, it's not on the proposed property line.
So what are you doing with the post and board fence that's shown on the plan?
Comes relocated probably.
That will be relocated to the common property line. Yes. Okay, the next comment on Paul's letter was the sheet 2, the conceptual lot development plan. The total area of disturbance is 1,400 feet less than the threshold for a major development. A major development being a lot that has greater than 1/4 acre of new impervious or 1 acre of total disturbance. And I know he has talked with Paul, Steve Reese talked with Paul about this, but there's not a lot of relief across this property. It's fairly flat. And we've shown 1 foot contour intervals rather than 2 feet contour intervals that are, typically shown on a plat like this. And when we are considering grading and aspects of that, when we have a 1 foot contour interval, we're not going to have as tight as it would seem to on the plot plan if we were looking at 2 foot contour intervals. And also, when are developed, each of them will require a lot development plan. And at that point, when we get we're right here in a conceptual phase. We're not sure if these are the actual footprints of the houses and things like that. We'll get to the time when a lot development plan is required to construct. At that point, I would feel it'd be more appropriate to look at the stormwater aspects at that point. And if one is constructed and it's less than the threshold, second lot is proposed, and the condition would be what the 2 lots combined would show. But I think, again, it's for the time when the lot development plans are reviewed and approved by the engineer that the significance would be considered.
The issue is this, that to a certain extent we lose control on projects like this. Under the stormwater ordinance that we're required to adopt by the state, we've got the quarter acre and 1 acre threshold. Quarter acre really, I don't think, is going to be an issue here because the increase in impervious is relatively small. So the benefit of that is you do not have to with water quality, and you don't have to deal with recharge. The only thing you have to do with the acre of disturbance is deal with the reduction in the overall peaks, or showing that the proposed hydrograph is less than the existing hydrograph, which is, you know, a lot of engineering calculation. But the problem that I had is the Southmore Road lot gets developed, and now the Kluges Brook Road lot comes in, and all of a sudden that blows up into what the stormwater has to do. It's maybe more equitable to share that amount of stormwater management between the two lots. I've reviewed a number of these in the past in other municipalities. The way we've dealt with it is determine basically how many dry wells you need to make this work so you get the hydrographs so you don't have an issue. And then split them among the lots. And that's part of the preliminary, or that's part of the minor subdivision plat, and that gets carried through when the individual lot development plans come in. That way, there's no argument, there's no discussion. You know, nobody buys this other lot and says, hey, wait a second, how come I have to do all this? The guy next door didn't have to do anything.
Right.
You know, that's my concern. That's why I always look at this. The board can't simply say, we're going to waive it because of the state requirements. Yeah, you would have to have a mitigation plan. And the applicant would have to come up with a mitigation plan and execute that mitigation plan, which is more complicated than doing the drainage.
What we could do is we can do calculations and the number of dry wells and prepare the graphs and get them to Paul, and to satisfaction, I'm sure we could
And
make
show it
it.
as typical stormwater to be finalized when the building permits come.
We can
That's the way I've done it in other places. And it's useful.
that's individual lot development plans would be prepared and submitted, fine tuning it. Yeah. Okay.
So how do we word this?
I think you say that the stormwater management for the project will be designed as a major development in accordance with the township stormwater ordinance. And individual lot development plans will be required. Because already know it on the plan anyway.
What does the word major mean?
Major means the total area of disturbance exceeds an acre. In this particular case.
Thank you.
Well-
A subdivision, included.
Right. Paul, if I could clarify this in my mind, we have to have them set a predetermined stormwater management plan that then follows the subdivisions?
Based on the conceptual development shown on the plan, yes.
Okay, so
And
as
this
the,
will say that that will be modified when the lot development plan comes in and the building is 12 feet in this direction instead of 13 feet in that direction.
and that will be up at the time of the subdivision,
Yes.
and will follow the subdivision if someone else came in and bought the property.
That's a lot, that's
Right.
part of the record, that's part of what they have to do, and they see that on the plans. They're going
And
to
do
execute.
easements go along with that?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Paul's next comment was the lot coverage figures, and we've taken a look at them, and when we have to prepare a revised subdivision plan for Paul, we'll have the correct figures on that.
Have you looked at it enough to realize you don't need a variance?
Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
So you're confirming that it won't require a variance?
I can confirm that. That's correct. I did calculations earlier this week, and we can confirm that there's no variance. That's right. The 20% grade, conceptual grading with the driveway, that ties back to the contour interval. Utilities shall be underground. We'll add that note to the plot plan. And the dry well overflow on lot 19 point, on the Kluges Brook lot will connect to the existing storm sewer, yes. We've discussed the fences, the existing fence along Kluges Brook will be removed in front of the proposed lot. And we'll take off the signature lines requiring approval. We acknowledge we need a soil erosion sediment control plan. And we'll also put together details as required to connect to the water system on Kluges Brook. And that addresses Paul's comments.
I see that, okay. And Frank, you have any further
I don't think I have anything else
comments?
after what we've talked about. I think we're good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any comments from the board?
Just a quick question. I'm not sure if this is one of Frank's comments or not. You're proposing septic? Is there a sewer line that you can connect to in Lucas Brook?
No, there's not.
Outside the sewer service area.
Outside the service area. And before your Board of Health, and we've gotten approval for the both septic systems. We're 100% compliant there.
You can see from there, but
You're right. Okay.
All right.
I had one point of clarification, if I may.
Yes, certainly.
We talked about a through driveway on the Thosmore Road lot, not having a through driveway all the way out to Lucas Brook Road.
Right.
And I'm informed there's no current plan to put a driveway out to Lucas Brook Road. In terms of agreeing not to enter Lucas Brook from that lot, rather than make it an absolute prohibition in the resolution, I'd prefer to say that there would be no through driveway unless there was a further application to the board.
But not just a through driveway. I mean, if somebody, I'm not saying you, but somebody has this as a horse property in the future, and they're running all their horse trailers in and out of Lucas Brook Road just because it happens to be easier, and it's not a through, you can go all the way to Thosmore, it just goes to the barn, because it happens to be easier and you're on a paved road instead of an unpaved road like Thosmore. I think that's a nuisance on the Lucas Brook Road that we don't necessarily want.
He has, my client has no current plan to put a driveway through, or partial. It's going to be fenced. So there's no burden in foregoing that at this time. I would prefer to leave it to a future board to decide if there's an application that came in.
You could always do that even with a resolution prohibition. That doesn't preclude somebody at some future date from coming in on an application to eliminate that condition for some specified reason. I think you kind of get to the same place.
Yes, I agree, except that there's a future board might look at it and say, well, you agree to this in perpetuity, and the prior board must have had something in mind. I just want it to be a neutral, that there is no access from Lucas Brook to this road lot. The applicant can apply to the board in the future for such
But
a...
there would be no context for that application. Because single-family residential or farm property has no great reason to come to the board unless there's a prohibition in the resolution.
That's right, there's no jurisdiction.
I think we have to look at it as the future, too.
And I never worry about the applicants, I worry
It's
about
the future. Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I think we also have to really think about the Lucas Brook neighborhood. You know,
Yes, I
we're
agree.
going to make a big change to the extent that something's happening here, so
Here, even if you're just servicing the horses.
I wouldn't want the board to seem ambivalent about that. I think Paul's point is a really good point, that I used to drive a horse trailer. I would certainly take Lucas Brook Road if I could drive right in there.
There's no stand, it could be a dirt road. See, that's what they're worried about, if it's like it's just a dirt road.
I get it,
getting
that
out
makes
on-
sense.
Yeah, so, all right, we'll agree to that. That there'll be no driveway to the Thosmore lot off Lucas Brook Road. All right.
Okay, any further? The board have? No? We can have a resolution drawn?
Sorry?
We can have a resolution proposed?
All right,
Public comment?
Public comments?
Sorry, public comment.
There you go.
Yeah, sorry. State your name, your address, please.
Sure. Colin Hickey, 3 Desiree Court in Bedminster. I just appreciate the board's comments with respect to the Clucas Brook neighborhood. I'm in that neighborhood. Appreciate the fact right now that Clucas Brook is not a through road. We would never want to see that become a through road. It's trafficked enough as it is, so anything we can do to keep it the same and not increase it, we do appreciate that. I'm speaking as one resident of the 39 in the neighborhood, but thank you for considering us.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Mhm. Other comments? No. Okay.
If you were going to move this, it would be a motion to approve the application for minor subdivision approval. It would include a provision that in effect extended the rear lot line of what we're going to call the Clucas Brook Road lot all the way to the east, a conceptual line.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
That would still be part of the Thosmore Road lot, but for purposes of, wouldn't even be an application, but for purposes of putting up accessory structures, that would in effect be treated as the rear lot line for the Thosmore Road lot. That area, I'll call it the rear of the Thosmore Road lot, as crosshatched, would be fenced off with a post and board fence. It doesn't have to be this way. It would just be the one that now exists that would be relocated. Another condition is that driveway access to the Thosmore Road lot would be prohibited from the Clucas Brook Road lot. Clucas Brook Road, thank you. The stockade fence that runs along Clucas Brook Road in front of Clucas Brook Road lot, it's a real mouthful, is going to be removed. Stormwater management for the project will be designed as a major development in accordance with township ordinance standards. The applicant will comply with Section A, items 1, 2, in Mr. Ferrara's report, and Section B, 2, more or less 3, 4, 5, 7, and with Section C. Is that correct, Paul?
Yeah, you don't have to worry about B3.
Okay. And standard conditions. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. I just had one question because I'm confused about the need for the projected lot line. What we're doing is granting the right for him to have a building on the Thor lot that can be between Clucas Brook Road and house, which means it would be in the front yard on the Clucas Brook side. If you grant that relief and say that no building can be, he's already said there won't be a building there. I know that, I'm wondering if that projected lot line is going to start to be interpreted to mean something it doesn't need to mean. The Clucas Brook lot has a rear yard with a rear lot line. This lot has 2 front yards, but as long as you say he can have things, accessory structures, things between his house and Clucas Brook Road, and be between that projected lot line.
Is that what we're saying?
Well, that's what I just want to be clear on what it is we're saying.
I don't think that's what we said.
No, I think there was a stipulation that there would be no, the owner said he would give no structures in that
Crosshatched area.
That's what I interpreted also. There are no structures constructed in the crosshatched area. This red line I put on here was just a projection so that I could refer to it when I was speaking here.
So what that would mean is that anything else he wants to build behind his house in Clucas Brook Road is okay. That's what we're doing, is we're saying,
No,
The
no.
red line becomes the rear yard.
but it's not prohibited because that happens to be a front yard. That's what we're getting at. Okay, if it's going to be treated as a rear yard for purposes of accessory buildings and structures. Okay. I mean, I think that projected line helps. I just got more confused, that future board trying to understand.
Well, but I think it's corrected by the fact that there's a stipulation that there'll be no structures behind or to.
Beyond that
whatever
point.
that direction.
To the north.
To the north of that line.
I think, and this can be handled between the two engineers, because subdivision is going to be perfected by the filing of a map, rather than trying to decipher this from some deed language.
Would that be a rear yard? Is that a rear yard then?
What the front yard and rear yards are.
Setback if the set,
Well, we'll show a rear yard setback in here,
I think you.
a building envelope there.
So Steve and I have the same question. So if you take the projection of the, right there where the pen is, immediately to the south of that, are you going to consider that rear yard? Even though
That's not what I thought.
You wouldn't want to, at some future possibility, in that corner there, where you have yard setback capacity. In other words, right where your pen is pointing now, right on that line there, you wouldn't want to maybe someday put a barn or something that abuts to that?
There's an existing barn there now.
Okay, but but my point is that you have room at least all the way up to that line, even with the stipulation that you're not going to build in the crosshatch area. But if you agree that that red line is a de facto rear lot line, backyard line, then you still have some setback coming.
We'd have the conventional rear yard setback coming towards Stosmore Road there.
You may want to be able to use that small corner.
You might build the barn bigger.
The applicant could always come in and seek a variance in that instance.
But we're putting
You're doing a
restriction on it.
self-imposed rear yard.
Yeah.
And we just want to make sure that you're aware that
Well, the other.
I understand what you're saying.
If the board wants to be very generous, I suppose you could say
That we waive all rear yard setback requirements?
that the imaginary rear lot line won't have an imaginary rear yard setback requirement.
well, because you're already stipulating that he's not going to build anything to the north of that.
So he could build right up to that imaginary line.
Right, exactly.
He's got it, doesn't he? He's got setback here.
The length
Yes, he does.
of the
That is
rear
You have
yard
setback
of the
here.
new lot.
But in
yard
this
there.
little corner, you at least, even if
but
you
the way
agreed
it's also
to never
included.
develop there,
Right.
you could put something right up to that line. And do we, I guess my question is, do we care? Do we give them the?
Look, I'm only the attorney. But I don't have a problem.
I don't know,
with
right.
that, because it's his land.
That's right, it's his, I just want to be sure.
Let me show you how we get pretty easily, because we are going to file a map. We show a rear setback along here, and it comes in a radius and comes to the side yard along here. And you have another side yard here, and this line is a little dash line that says no structures, and we're done.
Yeah.
All right. Show on the file map, it's the easiest way.
Yeah, that works.
And it gives you, or a future owner.
You can say thank you to Paul.
Well, I did want to, we keep talking about structures, and I did want to make sure.
We're talking roof buildings. We're talking
Yeah, we're
buildings.
talking
If you want to be really clear, you're only going to eliminate the rear yard setback for the crosshatch portion. There's still a setback on the rear lot line.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, okay.
I just wanted to make clear, we're talking about buildings, accessory structures, not like if somebody puts something up so a horse jumps over it. I mean, that's not what we're talking about.
A hurdle, is that what you call it? Hurdle?
Accessory buildings, right, okay.
And these is kind of, a turnout shed would be accessory building.
For clarity's sake, if there's a need for an access driveway into that area that we said won't have any buildings, as long as that driveway does not connect with Lucas Brook Road, he's not prohibited from being able to drive back into there, right?
Right.
No, that's not the way it's worded. It's, you just prohibit driveway access from
Onto Blue Cliff, okay. All right, we're finished? We're finished?
Yes, may I take what seemed like a very simple application?
Became complex. Okay,
Planning.
okay. Do we hear?
Really awkward situation.
All right, do we have a motion for this
Dave,
proposed?
to repeat that resolution to me.
Again?
No.
It might not come out the same way, though.
I will make the motion to approve what our attorney.
Opportunity to read it again.
That's what he said.
Right, whatever he said. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Mayor Parker?
Aye?
Mr. Jacobs?
Aye.
Mr. Chacon?
Aye.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Aye.
Mr. Deep?
Aye.
Ms. Christie?
Aye.
Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Zupnik?
Aye.
And Ms. Betchel?
Aye. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. A wonderful evening.
It'd be a nice improvement.
It'll be, yeah, it's gonna look,
Yeah.
Okay, do we have any board comments? Any board comments at all?
Just that I am looking forward to next time we meet, maybe discussing our subcommittee project.
I sent some information to Doug earlier this evening.
Excellent. Good. Hopefully next week we'll be able
Put it
to
on.
have a substantive discussion. Great.
Okay, anybody else on the board?
I just want to ask the question, what's happening with Bedminster 2 funding?
We're going to get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
You're jumping ahead, Nick.
You're jumping ahead, Nick.
Very anxious.
Yeah, okay.
I
Paul?
thought we were about to
No, not yet.
adjourn.
Page 2.
Just us.
just us.
Paul, you want to talk about our pending apps?
Sure, we have Chestnut, which is here next week. Doing the application, we'll deal with that, hopefully, and deal with the subcommittee report. Next, we have the Bedminster 2 funding application. They've requested to be carried to November 1st.
Third.
I'm sorry, 3rd. Okay. Carried to November 1st. We have the Perone application, which is not complete. They have not yet resubmitted any additional information on that, so that's going to be hanging for some time. The Lamington Road LLC is a 35 townhouse application. On Lamington Road, I resubmitted information. I believe that they will be complete, and we should think about scheduling them perhaps for the second meeting in November. Pembroke Farm is a relatively small application that's just come in. I have not reviewed it for completeness yet. I hope to have the Lamington Road LLC and Pembroke Farm for next week.
Okay.
That's where they stand. But I think from a planning perspective, you've got Chestnut next week, you've got Bedminster 2 funding November 3rd, you've got Lamington Road LLC November 10th.
Okay,
If
Aaron,
something blows up next week, we'll know by next week. Do the final review on the stakes.
okay. All right, so,
Wait,
that's,
do you guys agree to adjourn Bedminster 2 to November 3rd, though?
if that's okay with me,
Okay. Because I have to let the other attorney know.
yes?
Done.
No, we don't agree.
I'm recused.
Yeah, right, where are they?
Trina, just remember I'm recused from that meeting.
Am I?
Oh, okay. We don't have anything else on that night, so.
That would be when we were going to discuss.
That was the Bedminster 2, that was the one with that, had that you asked me to review the testimony on, but I have not seen that PowerPoint yet. I've requested a couple times.
From,
Big development, they did a presentation, I reviewed the testimony, but they showed something on the wall that was not in the video. I saw the testimony, I heard the testimony, have not seen the presentation.
okay, I'll get it for you.
Appreciate that.
And Lamington Road LLC is the one right at the beginning of Lamington Road,
It's
a few doors from,
basically across the street from Fergario's application.
from my
Right
office too. I haven't heard anything in terms of, any letters in the mail, in terms of, I don't know if I'm 200
There's been
feet.
no public notice of the application yet.
That's why.
Yeah.
Because I was
No,
surprised to
it's
see
too
it on
early.
here.
It's too early.
Well, under pending application.
Yeah.
It's always going to be on the agenda under pending,
Right.
even if it's not scheduled yet.
Because that might be another one I have to recuse myself. Because I'm
You have a
causing
location.
You know, I'm right in the middle of everything.
Always in the mix, Lou.
Frank, you got,
Our esteemed council just posed an interesting question to me about whether we might someday be faced with a presidential library here in Bedminster.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And my,
I'll worry about that.
my real concern was,
It'll be on the go.
how many people are going to come to see the dead president here?
It'll be by the cemetery.
Right next to the cemetery.
they're going
Build it right on
to
top.
It could be a traffic issue here.
they're going to be all lined up, right?
Oh, Lord in heaven.
All right. Do we have a motion to
Interesting
adjourn?
times.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Okay. We're done for tonight.
Second.